What's going on, Disney fans? It's Disney Dan here with another episode of Well, this isn't necessarily a DIStory. This is more of like a unistory. Yeah, like a Universal Studios costume character history. This is a unistory is what this is going to be. And I'm going to start branching out to some characters that I really love and adore and cover them in some videos because I think some of them are very interesting. Like, for instance, Shrek. And just full disclosure, I'm obsessed with Shrek. I really, really love Shrek. From a young age, when it first came out, I'm fascinated by Mike Myers. I loved him in Austin Powers when he was doing this. I thought it was just hilarious. And then, of course, I love Shrek on Broadway. It's one of my favoriteest things ever. It's one of the best musicals I've ever seen. Some of the best music. It's like a dream role of mine. Watch it on Netflix. Highly recommend it. It's just hilarious. Has wonderful production value. And Shrek is a Universal Studios character, right? He's been in Universal Studios for quite a while. At least, I think about 18 years now, because that's when the movie came out, was in 2001. What? 18 years ago. That's crazy. And I'm just gonna, okay, I'm sorry about what you're gonna see first. Because it's borderline the most horrific costume character I've ever seen in a park, all right? So to warm you up to what I'm about to show you, I'm just gonna give you a quick little montage of some of the Shrek costume character discount costumes you can purchase on eBay from overseas that they make in bulk and sell for like $60 for these things. It's ridiculous. These are the kind of things you see in Times Square is what I'm getting at. So to soften the blow of what you're about to witness, I'm going to show you these. Okay, here we go. There's this one. He's kind of got this like giant nose ring thing going on, right? That thing looks like he's wearing a nose ring, all right? Those aren't like Jolly Fat Rolls. That is a nose ring that's like painted green. Look at it. It's ridiculous. Then we've got this next one who's got this weird, like a strawberry shaped head with a really tiny nose. There's just something, I can't quite put my finger on what's wrong with this one, but there's definitely something wrong with it. And then there's the next one, which is kind of adorable, actually. I'm going to say this one is tolerable to me. I think it's great. It's like a baby Shrek. In fact, if I was doing Shrek the Musical, I might literally purchase this for a small child to wear and come out, because Shrek is a baby in the beginning, come out and be like, hey, I'm a little kid Shrek, because this is an adorable little Shrek. It's adorable. Look at this. I mean, like, that looks like the plush of a Shrek you would win at a carnival. That's what that looks like. So I approve of it. And then we have this one, which is the strangest. It looks like they made this costume, but then as they were making it, what they did was they had to sew the back of it up, right? So they made this. This was a beautiful Shrek costume, right? Beautiful Shrek face. They flipped it over on the table to sew up the back of it. And when they were doing that, they must have pressed too hard and the whole front of it flattened out. That's the only explanation that I would find acceptable for this. What is going on? Okay, so there you go. I just warmed your heart with these 4 adorable Shreks, these 4 totally unlicensed Shreks. Very, very unlicensed. Nothing was official about this. In fact, and if you like me covering these, let me know in the comments, because there are plenty of others that I have collections of and I would love to share them with you guys. Okay, so I just gave you that fine little treat, and now what you're going to witness is going to be shocking to your eyes. But let's go back to 2001, right after the release of Shrek. Dropped into Universal Studios was a live action musical type show based on Shrek. And the Shrek that was in the show looked like this. Oh, I can't. I can't. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first, there's just a gigantic body, right? There's just one huge body. How did this happen? Look at this. This is what it reminds me of, and probably none of you have seen it, but there's a movie from like the 90s called Nothing But Trouble, and starred a bunch of SNL people, and in it was little Bobo. And this is like horrifying. This is horrifying 80s monster makeup. All right. And I'm going to show you how Shrek should be done live in makeup later when I cover the Shrek the Musical. But right now, this is not it. He's so big and bulbousy. First and foremost, let's pad the legs just a little bit, okay? It's like, Margaret, we have a padding budget of approximately $170. And Margaret's like, perfect. That's just enough to design this costume proportionately. And we're just going to take it one step at a time. I'm going to go buy $170 worth of padding, take it one step at a time, work away from the top to the bottom. And then, like Janet came in and she's like, Margaret, we just finished the body and we started the legs and we've just got only the budget left for leggings. We didn't save any of the padding. And Margaret's like, oh, well, the show must go on. And then they did it. And this is what happened. Oh, and then there's video of them backstage with like that guy who's like been in some things. He was like in this, I don't know, you know who it is. I'll put it like on the lower third right now, like the name of his name, because I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But they've got this guy. Look at him without the costume on. Just look at him without the costume. The big head, that's like a man. That's a human mortal man with the head of a Shrek. All right? What? So that was 2001. That show only lasted about a year or so. That was not the only horrible costume in it. There's been some, it's been rough. So 2 years later, Universal Studios is like, hey, everyone, it's 2003. We're in the future. It's time for Shrek 4D. And they roll Shrek 4D into the parks. And to celebrate this, they bring out the first kind of like mass-produced, let's say, and not live action. This is a costume character meet and greet. They bring out the first Shrek. They have this big party, and they reveal this Shrek costume, and it isn't terrible if you're just looking at the face dead on at the correct angle. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Okay, so they do this thing. Disney does it well by using this to their advantage to like make like animal shapes like Friar Tuck and Country Bears, where they have this head on top of the cast member or the team member's shoulders, and they leave the head inside the neck of that character, hoping that that's enough space. And it makes this like very like pear, like teardrop shaped thing, and it just doesn't look right. I mean, they do it right with like Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph. That's a big character, and they give it they have to build out a structure for the body, and then it works. Shrek would have been good as a character like that with the mobile hands, but instead they designed him as a way to have these big like rubber paws that he can kind of move weirdly, and then have this big giant head thing that sits on top of him. And it's okay, right? You look at it, it really does look like the character, except depending on the artist that was in charge that year. This costume was used in the parks for about 13 years. The same Shrek design. They did not change it, right? That's normal. They don't change characters in Disney except for every 10, 15 years. That's a normal lifespan for a costume. But like, there were such wild variations in the paint job on this thing that it's kind of like alarming. Again, the quality control, and this is a whole nother video that I have about Universal's costume characters, is wildly out of whack. There is just no quality control. It's super obvious in Beetlejuice. Oh, sorry, I just had to show you a picture of Beetlejuice. But like, I mean, there's a whole video just talking about the glaring problems with the Beetlejuice consistency and makeup. It's like they had no art director for the costuming department, or they did, and he was just, I don't know, he was too busy riding Shrek in 4D than sitting in meetings approving the color palettes. But he essentially occasionally looks like E.T. at the end when he's like dying in the river. You know what I mean? Like, that Shrek shouldn't look like that. Shrek should be like green, right? I mean, like with some like undertones of brown, tan, maybe, but he shouldn't be this. What? So despite the paint job, okay, I like some of the other stuff. The legs are properly padded, right? So they're bigger than normal human skinny legs, proportionate for the body. He doesn't have this ungodly stomach, right? This is the equivalent of like what like the Headless Horseman looks like in the costume, like where the shoulders have to be up so high that it just ruins it's like, there's a dude in there, you know, that kind of thing. Like when Disney, they completely avoid that with magic. You know how they do that? They put him 4 feet in the air on a moving animal, right? And so you can't ever get a good look at the Headless Horseman because he's always moving, all right? So, I mean, and I love the vest. The vest is one of the most consistently well done things throughout all these versions of Shrek we're going to see. I really dig it. The vest is really great. So we've got this great looking Shrek, and he's going to hang around the parks 13 years. But before he gets replaced in the parks, over on Broadway, a new musical opens up called Shrek. right? And stars Brian Darcy James as Shrek. It's really wonderful. It's heartwarming. It's one of my favorite things I've ever seen. And this is a really amazing costume design. And let me tell you why. Because Brian Darcy James is like 5'1". All right. He's this tiny man. Not tiny. I'm 6'2". What I'm saying is he's a very small dude. Here's a picture of me and him, and you can see a height comparison, right? He's a shorter guy. It's crazy. And in this costume with like these beautiful boots and this super smart cowl design, they just blow up his features and make him look like this 6.5 foot tall ogre on stage. It's impressive. It's insane how they do it. And then you see him off stage, like at the stage door, and he's like this tiny dude. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And so essentially they built the microphones right into the dimples of his cheeks. So that's a really cool feature for this, that he doesn't even have to be specifically mic'd every night. They just plug his cowl in. He's got these weep holes on the side of his head for his ears so he can hear, because, you got to hear when you're singing. And then otherwise, like, he's got this beautifully blended, it's this beautiful blend job that, typically speaking, depending on how sweaty the dude is, like, and if I ever played Shrek, super, super sweaty situation, that the cowl ends up like just crying by the end, because like just water's like pouring out of it. Anyway, so this is really remarkable, and they do it really well by like sculpting the jaw down and out, and then bringing a ton of height up above like the natural brow and rounding it out. It just is a very smart design choice for this head cowl. It's a really like, oh, if I were to see Shrek and like see him, like that's what he would look like, sort of like way more than what happened in Universal Studios. So Shrek the Musical rolled out in Broadway, really big success, went on a big tour. I'm a big fan of it. It's on Netflix. I'm stop talking about it now, but it's one of my favorite things ever. Comment below if you love Shrek the Musical. Tell me your favorite song. I know it's Who I'd Be. All right, let's keep going. We got to keep going. This is just a special conversation between you and me. Okay. Before we jump into the next evolution of Shrek, just a quick reminder that all of the DIStory videos that you see are sponsored by the Magic Candle Company. Go to magiccandlecompany.com and use coupon code DisneyDan15 for theme park scented candles. Don't smell like an ogre. We need to get like a Shrek earwax candle thing going on for the Magic Candle Company. Guys, we did it. We figured it out. We did it. Earwax Shrek scented candles coming soon. Okay, so fast forward, 2016 hits and Shrek gets a fresh look for the parks, and they completely resculpt his face, completely resculpt his hands, and they give him a new body design that's finally just gorgeous. They bring the Shrek head down onto the head of the performer, like a Mickey design, which is very smart to do. And then they just cast it the right way, right? They just cast it smart. They cast it with a tall dude and a relatively short woman, and then the proportions just look right. They look better. This new sculpt is really nice because if you didn't notice, and this is one of the creepier things about E.T., speaking of E.T., like I mentioned before, they both have human teeth. Did you not know that? Did you not know that E.T. has human teeth? Because he does. And it's really creepy. Okay, so that's like, okay, E.T.'s got human teeth. That's really creepy. But Shrek can have human teeth like he was in the 2003 version because he's an ogre, and an ogre is kind of like a variant of like a humanoid, right? So that kind of works. That's fair enough. I completely agree with you. What's great about the new version from 2016 is that they really like did up the teeth and the lips and the nose. He's got all these crooked, weird, misshapen sized teeth. And this is where 3D printing has like changed the game, I personally believe, because they could literally just take the character file from the movies and 3D print the thing, and it's insane. It's just incredible, and it really shows. The texture in his skin, it's a really, really beautiful design. I like it a lot. The gloves are more or less just a scaled down version of what they were before. They're not articulate, really. They're just like big floppy things, and that's cool. I'm fine with that. I really like the newest Shrek. I think it's a really stunning costume. The new Shrek is Mickey level in terms of like costume execution and design. I love this head a lot. It's on level with how Disney does their character design and execution with costumes. I mean, this is some really impeccable execution of this character. I'm going to stop talking about it now because there's not much more to say. It's really, really nice. So that is how Shrek has looked in the parks and outside the parks in terms of character design for costumes. He has one ride, incidentally, in 2017 out in Dubai at the Motion Gate Park. They opened a Shrek ride that is essentially everything looks like a stage. You look up and it's all the lighting and it's very like harsh. The company who's doing these isn't executing dark rides well, in my opinion, because it's all very bare. I don't like that you can see so much floor. It's just weird compared to how they do Mystic Manor, compared to how they do like the Ratatouille with this trackless ride system. Disney does it right, and these people just leave way too much space and way too much unthemed. I don't like it. But anyway, so he has a ride in Dubai. The character sculpt is kind of interesting. It looks like him. It just is weird when you try to see an ogre that you're so familiar with. It's like Uncanny Valley. But I mean, like the Shrek looks good. He has a really great Shrek statue outside, which also looks really great in the Dubai Motion Gate area you can take pictures with. And in Dubai, interestingly enough, at Motion Gate, you can meet the Universal Studios Shrek. And the ride is fun. It's cute. He's appeared as balloons a few times. When the park back in 2003, when they opened Shrek 4D, they wrapped the Universal Studios sign in this really cool Shrek balloon that I think is really kind of adorable. Out in Singapore Universal Studios, they did the Shrek 4D thing to the max. And there's a beautiful castle. I've been there. I love it. It's stunning. They've got the Shrek like mud hut that you can kind of like walk through. It's very, very cool over there. They have this like with all the handprints like outside the Grauman's and some really, really fun like themed gift shops and like an eatery. It's really, really cool, the Shrek area in Singapore. I'm glad I got to experience it. Okay. Tell me this does not look like Gilbert Gottfried, all right? This big Shrek balloon that they put out.
Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. You get it? We both have layers.
That was my audio editor, Nate Begle, natebegle.com, who has a really great Gilbert impression. This is the balloon that they used to advertise when their Shrek 4D area opened. They put this outside the marquee. Last but not least, my truly favorite Shrek balloon is this one from the Indy 500 parade in 2015. Listen, this is one of the funniest characters. Like just the execution is so bad that it's so great. Anyway, so there you go. There was your first DIStory. I'm going to circle back to some of these characters because they don't have as long of a life as Disney ones do, and I can kind of cover them a little bit easier. So we'll start to have some of these coming in and out here and there. So hopefully you enjoyed my Shrek breakdown. Let me know in the comments what your favorite one was. Let me know in the comments what your favorite song from Shrek the Musical is, because it's a great musical. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. You rock.
Thanks, folks, for watching Disney Dan. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. All the magic is just a few clicks away. Plus, find Dan on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And say hello. Oh, see you real soon.